Welcome to room 105, finishing room. This is where your last step is before you end up doing your rubric. In here, we are going to learn how to stain our projects. So the first step that you want to do is make sure you have safety glasses on, because stain is obviously you don't want to get in your eyes. The other thing is you want to put on an apron. Aprons are hanging right here, so you know, remember, stain is called stain for a reason. So if you got nice clothes, make sure you put an apron on. So now I'm gonna stain this board right here. It was just a board I grabbed out of the rack. So we're gonna stain this board. So the first thing you need to decide is these are the kind of stains we use. This one is a medium walnut and this is a natural. So in here, they're labeled. This is light, and this is a dark one. You do not want to mix. Either pick one or the other, but don't do both. So they're right here. We have to make sure there's some paper toweling here. If the stain is gone, just ask, the teacher will fill it back up. Paper toweling will do the same thing. So make sure your site's prepared before you begin. Now we have examples of light, dark stain and how it generally affects the wood. These will be set up in the front of the classroom to help you decide whether you want to go light or dark stain. Now, some woods react a little bit differently than others. Some are a little bit darker, and that's just the nature of wood. So now that I have my site prepared, I have my project or what I'm going to stain. Now it's time to actually stain. Now I'm going to select a dark stain for this board. So I know where the dark is. Now the next step is I need to come up here. We put our stuff in here. This is low order mineral spirits. What happens is we hang our brushes in here. This prevents the brushes from hardening. We have so many projects that get stained over a length of time that we need to suspend them in here. Otherwise, we'd waste too many chemicals cleaning the brushes out every single hour, every single day. So now we have that mineral spirits in here, so we need to get rid of it. So what you're going to do is reach down inside this garbage can, click the brush off. Click the brush off. Make sure you reach down in there so you don't spray anybody around you. So now our brush is clean. What I want to do is just kind of revigorate the brush, just get it moving a little bit. Now in our brush, I'll hold this right here so you can see it maybe a little bit better. There's a white tip on the brush. There's the brown part right here. The white tip is what you dip into the stain. You're not eating pudding. You're not going to splash down to the bottom of the container. It does no good. So you only need to dip here. So why are the bristles so long on a brush? The reason why they're long is so when you paint, the bristles can apply pressure to the board. That's why cheap brushes only have very short bristles. So now I selected the dark. I'm going to reach in here, just dip a little bit. I'm going to apply it on my board. Nice, long, even strokes on that. You want a nice, even finish on that. Now that is pretty good right there. Can you see that? No puddles. Let me show you what you don't want. If you can see those puddles right there, that's no good. It's actually dripping off. You don't need that. That will apply an inconsistent stain on your project. So now this brush is done. What you want to do is let this sit for 15 to 20 minutes, up to a half hour is what was recommended on the can. Sometimes we don't have that option due to our class periods. So make sure you leave enough time to come in here to wipe it off, but don't start staining unless you have sufficient time. So we're going to grab some of this brown paper toweling and we're going to wipe it off. You're going to wipe your board off, rub. You need to wipe it all off. If you do not wipe it off enough, what you're gonna do is come back the next day, your project literally will be sticky from the wet stain. So to recap, select your stain, light or dark, don't mix them. Don't put the dark brush into the light, you're gonna wreck the pigment of the stain. So you select your stain, then you will stain your project. Now with this brush, it is your responsibility to put it back. Let's say all the brushes are being used and you want to come in, this has dark stain on it, but you want light. All you gotta do is come to the can, dip it in the mineral spirits, dip it in the mineral spirits, it'll clean the brush. Just get the bristles free again, and now I can take this brush and go back and I can use a light stain if that's a brush I want. If you have any questions, make sure you ask.